Welcome back, Verse, to another video. That's right, Verse. Today we are going to be doing the spoiler discussion for Superman 2025. And man, I am excited because now I get to tell you guys the things that really caught my interest, right? There's a lot of things here that I really liked. A lot of things that I've said in my first video that I did not like that now I can talk about. And there was even some surprises. Again, we're just here to have a discussion. So if you guys either agree or disagree with me, that's totally cool. So I'm just letting you guys know what I thought about the movie, my thoughts on certain comics here and there about certain things, and that's pretty much it. I genuinely left the theater having a really fun time with this film. Again, it's not great. There are most certainly flaws with this film that really hold the film back quite a bit, that's for sure. When it comes down to just going from the beginning to the end, right, I'm going to get to the main key things that got me, right? There are people that came into the film that I didn't know were going to be there already. In the Fortress of Solitude, we got to see Jor-El, who is played by Bradley Cooper. Bradley Cooper is Superman's dad. And it's funny because when you watch Man of Steel, that same character was played by Russell Crowe. So you got a different Jor-El here played by Bradley Cooper. And Bradley Cooper is like one of my top 10 actors of all time, man. So seeing him in here, I was like, what? Bradley Cooper's there? Okay. But then again, he knows James Gunn. He was Rocket Raccoon. A lot of the people that worked for James Gunn are coming over here to DC. So it's really interesting to see them, playing these characters. So that really caught me off guard. After like the whole secret went out that apparently, for some reason, it turns out that Jor-El, Superman's parents, actually sent him there. And he's like, yeah, like, we love you. We hope you have a good life. Hope things are turning out well for you. And hey, since you're at it, when you go down to wherever it is that we're sending you, make sure you find a bunch of women and you start repopulating it, okay? Love you, son. And I was like, what? When I heard that, at first I was like, oh wait, I get it. It's still too early. Clearly, Lex Luthor, he obtained the footage when he went into the Fortress of Solitude and he altered it, right? Like he put fake descriptions of what they were actually saying. Okay, gotcha. So I was waiting for at some point for Superman to recover that film, and then next thing you know, he was gonna like actually hear what they really said, because I thought like he framed them. No, turns out that's actually what they said. They never go back to that. And to me, that's also a big flaw for me, because I'm just like, okay, this is a game changer. But we never really got to focus more on that. In this film, there were so many things that I liked, but it didn't have enough time to really flesh out unless James Gunn's gonna do it later. And for me, that's a bit of a letdown, because this is Superman. This is his movie. And there's so many characters here that not everybody technically has enough screen time to do what they gotta do. It's very distracting, honestly, and it's a bit of a letdown. We have Krypto. Superman, Krypto, Lois Lane get a lot of attention in this film, which is great. It's supposed to be about them, especially Superman. I'm fine with that. Then we got the Justice Gang. They're in the film, not very much, but when they're on screen, they're great. Nathan Fillion as Green Lantern, as I said, was fantastic. Everybody loves seeing him on screen. I wish I got to see more of him. Mr. Terrific was great. I wanted to see more Mr. Terrific. I never thought growing up I'd see Mr. Terrific, all people, being on screen, and he was done really well here. Hot Girl. I mean, she was there. You know, she was on screen when she needed to be. At one point, she actually got the general that was a part of trying to cause that war. And at one point, she actually kills him. You won't kill me. You're like Superman. And then right away, she's like, no, not really. Drops him and he dies. I was like, whoa, I liked it too. It goes to show like, yeah, nice try. This isn't kid friendly. Like, we're going to kill people here. I like that. I genuinely like that. It gives you a much more lighthearted but mature tone, and I welcome that. I will say she didn't really need to be here. There was just times where it just looked like she was on standby, ready to do something, and that was it. It wasn't bad, but it wasn't really great either. It was just kind of meh with her. I like Nicholas Holt's version of Lex Luthor. I think he'd make a great Lex Luthor, but what I don't like about this, and again, you could tell it's just to build up what he's gonna do later, he's behind the scenes a lot, right? He has like this whole team of like high-tech nerds or like engineers or whatever that are like building all these Supermen who are trying to fight Superman. Like in the beginning of the movie when Superman's fighting Ultraman, he gets his ass beat, and then like right after they realized that they got a result of beating him like that specific day, they were like, all right guys, great job, high five, yeah, like we did it, we kicked his ass today. And I was like, huh, like I mean, I know I get that, I mean that is their goal, it doesn't bother me, but it's a little Kind of comes out of nowhere, a little different from what I'm used to seeing, but okay. And then the day Lex Luthor, he's the one running it, he wants to beat the living crap out of Superman, so he's using all resources possible. Okay, I could believe that. The problem here is that Lex Luthor is so behind the scenes, we don't really get to see him be fleshed out here too much. I do think that he has the intensity and the vibe to really like have at it with Superman. But the problem here though is that you don't really get to see enough of his rage. Like, he kind of comes off like a spoiled brat at times when he doesn't win or get his ways, and I do like that a little bit, because whenever Lex Luthor loses, he does sometimes get frustrated and throw a tantrum. The one scene that I really liked in the film where I was like, that is straight up Lex Luthor. There was two scenes. One in particularly was the scene where after he kidnaps Crypto, Superman like goes into his office and starts breaking shit, and then he's like, where's the dog? Where's the dog? I really like that because basically he achieved his goal. He got under Superman's skin. He wanted him to get ticked off, and it worked. That's Lex Luthor. He likes manipulating as well as mentally hurting Superman. He likes to piss him off. A lot of people are making a big deal, oh, but doesn't Superman have super hearing? Again, this is an amateur Superman. If this was a wider Superman, I don't think he would have flipped out as easy, and obviously I think he would have had more experience trying to figure out what was going on in a more calmly manner. But we're not there yet, guys. Superman literally makes his more than clear, this is his third year as Superman. So again, he just started out, not that much. He's fought battles, he's done this and that, and this is his first time actually losing a fight. I just wish they focused more on Superman kind of coming to this realization like, man, I fought a lot of battles, I fought a lot of creatures, I've been dealing with Lex Luthor for quite some time, but I never lost. Like, I kind of wish we had more of like a sit-down moment with Superman reflecting on his loss, but it's just kind of like, ugh, gets his ass kicked. Alright, anyway, back to it. It's like nothing happens, and I don't like that. I kind of wish like we had more time to settle with what's happening here than just kind of getting back straight to the point. What I do like about what James Gunn did here is that he kept his word. This is not an origin story. There's no more introductions. There's no, even with the Justice League gang, they don't get any introductions. It's just, hey, look, it's the Justice League gang. It's Lois, Jimmy, it's Jimmy. You don't really need an introduction to anybody. Like, everyone's just who they are, because I think at this point we know who most of these characters are. Jimmy Olsen. This is where I kind of had some problems with the film, but I get what James Gunn was doing. Again, his interpretation of Superman, he went all the way back, like to the olden days, right? The 1940s to 50s. Jimmy Olsen back then, for those of you that don't know, was very popular. So popular to the fact that he actually got his own comic. Here, James Gunn did that. I like the actor who was playing Jimmy Olsen. I think he did a fine job. I actually liked how Jimmy Olsen was kind of like this popular reporter. He was really passionate about journalism. I liked that. He was always trying to get the scoop, always trying to get that information. But then, one thing that was really distracting was apparently he is so popular that every girl is simping for him. There was this one scene in the film where he's going in an alley to meet someone, right? Which apparently was Lex Luthor's girlfriend. And when he's going into this alley, there's like 3 girls there that are right there, and they're just like, hey. They're like, eh, how you doing? And I'm like, okay. And then in the office, there's like these girls that are just like looking at him, and then Jimmy's like uncomfortable. And then Lex Luthor's girlfriend is like this dumb blonde. Jimmy, every single time when he comes to her, Jimmy's just like, oh my god, I don't want to. The fact that I even got to talk to her. You can tell Jimmy wants nothing to do with her, but he keeps putting up with it because he's trying to get the scoop. That part I liked. I liked that when Jimmy was just excited to get the story, excited to get the information. When Lois Lane, at the very end of the film, I'll say this, there's an interdimensional portal being open, cracking through the earth, and despite the fact that they could die, Lois is like, yeah, hold on, I'm trying to finish something. So what's the information? What's the scoop? I loved it. I thought that was great. That's her character. She does not care if her life's in danger. She wants the story. She's gonna do it. The fight scenes in the film. The fight scenes are only gonna be at the level wherever these certain characters are at. So for instance, since Superman is an amateur, the fight scenes aren't going to be too over the top. We're not going Zack Snyder, Man of Steel levels of destruction here, okay? I wish we did, but we're not really there yet. So here, I'm kind of happy that it was actually kind of toned back a little bit. And it's also a bit confusing about what people want, mainly because of the fact that how like people were making this big ass deal, how in Man of Steel, man, like Zack Snyder really overdid it. There's all this destruction in the cities. There's all this other stuff going on, this and that. And I was like, no, yeah, I mean, you could argue that he really went over the top, but then again, it's General Zod, and he had like this whole squad with him, so of course, it's not that Superman did that, they did that, but they made it this big ass deal. Now with Superman here with James Gunn version, people are mad because they're like, oh, I've been hearing it's not enough destruction going on. Oh, like he's really holding back too much, and I'm just like, okay, so now I have a problem. Do you want him to be destructive, or do you not want him to be destructive? Because if it's too much, it's a problem, and if it's too little, it's a problem. What do you want? It's really confusing. People are just complaining to complain at this point. Make up your mind. Another thing that I heard about the film that really bothers me is that before, Marvel fans bitched. I shit you not. I have friends who literally used to talk shit about DC constantly. The only reason why they talked so bad about DC isn't because they picked up a single comic. It's because the movies suck. The movies are too dark. Now we got a new lighthearted version, and I hear people complaining. I heard somebody say it's too bright. Okay, you know what, dude? Go eat dirt. All right, I'm like, there's some stuff here that I just don't understand what you want. First, it was too dark. Now it's too light. What's the problem? Like, what do you want then? Like, I don't understand. Like it's this way or is that way, and they're both bad regardless. People that just complain like that can't get satisfied regardless, need to go out and find something else to do, because this is just pointless bickering. And if you can't give a valid argument, don't start anything. Really, don't start what you cannot finish. It's very clear on that. And it's really funny how the tables have turned a little bit. Like I was saying right now, I know a lot of people that were Marvel fans that were talking so much shit about DC, and then now that things are changing and now DC is starting to get some popularity a little bit, which is getting there. Again, we just started, so I'm not going major with it, but it's getting there. Now all of a sudden, I had friends who were talking all that shit that are now like, oh yeah, Superman's great. Yeah, like I'm excited to see this, and I'm just like, oh, now you're excited. Now you're excited, huh? Oh, okay. Huh, I wonder what changed. The crowd? It's really funny how shit changes. I'm telling you, man. I'm glad I stand my ground in the things that I say and the things that I do, because I know exactly what the fuck I'm talking about. But that aside, even though it feels like a bit of a jumbled mess with so many characters, it's fleshed out fine. I think James Gunn is very good at handling a various amount of characters in one film. I think he brought in too many. Personally, I think the only characters that should have came on the side were just ones related to Superman. But I mean, then again, you know, it was cool to see the Justice game, but you know, I felt like they could have maybe had their own spin-off or a show. As much as I did enjoy them, I felt like at times they didn't really need to be here. And I said in my video that the runtime without credits is about 1 hour and 56 minutes. Usually when a film is too long, I'm just like, look, this was too long, it dragged out too long. You could have cut away like 10 to 20 minutes. I felt like this film needed another 10 to 20 minutes. It was so short. You could have added another 10 to 20 minutes to flesh out more characters. It could have been more with Superman, maybe even more with Lex Luthor, you know. We could have maybe had more of a, heck, even more of the Justice League gang. I would have been fine with that. Maybe more with Lois Lane or Jimmy Olsen. You could have had more time to develop, or maybe add another action scene. I don't know. But it really felt like it needed more runtime. It felt really short for me. Another thing that also caught me off guard, I'm going to get into this right now. Ultraman. When Superman finally fights him and he reveals himself, it turns out that he is a clone. And then, because of this whole interdimensional portal that's opening in the back, which turns out to be a black hole inside of it, Superman actually ends up throwing him on a bus, and he ends up falling into the portal after they had this fight scene. And I'm just like, okay. A lot of people are saying, Superman killed him. I'm like, guys, it's James Gunn, it's superheroes. In the superhero world, no one really dies. How many times have we seen someone die? Their head can be beheaded and just still come back to life. Okay? It's happened so many freaking times before. He's gonna come back, okay? And if he comes back, I have a very strong feeling it's gonna be Bizarro Superman. The moment I saw it was a clone, I was like, I knew it. He was covered up the whole time. I knew that it was another Superman. I had a strong feeling. The one thing that I didn't like is how Lex Luthor, I liked that he was controlling him. I just didn't like how he was controlling him. He was saying like A1, 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 A1 or something like that. He kept saying like these codes to be able to tell Ultraman what to do to fight Superman. Krypto basically biting all the cameras so Lex Luthor couldn't see what was going on, so he couldn't really tell Ultraman what to do, which is what made Superman win the fight, which was great. You know, one thing that I really like about the Superman also is how caring he is. People said that, that's a little too goody-goody. No, I like that. I like the fact that Superman went through the effort to save a squirrel. He holds up this kaiju for a dog to freaking move, wouldn't move, so he blows it out of the way. And then he goes to the effort to save a little mini squirrel. He will save a mouse at this point. I like that. Towards the end, when he has this big speech, right, where he was trying to basically tell Lex Luthor that he is no different from him, I'm gonna be real with you, I liked it. I felt it building up, but then I just felt that the result was flat. I didn't really feel the intensity of his speech. I'm human also. Yeah, I may be an outsider, but I breathe and I move and I put on my shoe on one foot at a time, the same way as you do. And then there was a moment where Lex Luthor, he was getting really intense, and he was telling him like, hey, like, I'm Lex Luthor. I'm gonna be the one to beat you. I promise you, I'm gonna do this and that. And then James Gunn, I don't know if he just got nervous or maybe if he thought that it wasn't gonna work, but then he brings in a joke with Krypto, basically treating him like a rag doll. I thought it was funny. Everybody was was laughing at the scene, but again, I was like, that joke could have waited like at least 20 seconds. Like, let them finish that talk and then do what you gotta do. But no, like, we don't really get a build-up moment. There wasn't one time where, like, in Zack Snyder's Justice League, like The Flash, when he goes into the Speed Force and it's like that moment. You don't really get that here. I feel like in this film, James Gunn experimented with a lot of things. There is that scene in the desert where like all these civilians were about to like fight this militia army. James Gunn was using like this punk rock soundtrack. I liked the fight scene, I just didn't like the soundtrack that went with it. It came off a little distracting for me. Again, I feel like this film was a bit experimental. So that's why I'm not like raging like a lot of people on here already, because people are just like, yeah, it's very meh, it's this and that. I'm like, guys, it's just the first movie. It's the first movie. Like, give it a minute. You know they're gonna bring in more. Supergirl is next. And that's another thing. Supergirl's in the movie. I did not see that. I'm so excited to see that. Like, in the end of the movie, Superman's like trying to recover, talking to number 4. Right away he says, oh, your cousin's here. And I was like, your cousin? And then sure enough, you just see Supergirl drunk, I think, and she's coming in here and she's just like a typical teenager, like, hey, Superman, like, what's going on? Crypto, and then like Crypto like goes to her because apparently Crypto's her dog, which I think is fucking stupid because it's Superman's dog. I didn't like that. When it came down to Supergirl, I just want to say it was really great to be able to see Supergirl. That was awesome that they brought her in already. I'm glad that they didn't bring her in too early. You can tell they're gonna focus on her in her next movie. People were really complaining about how she was, that, oh, she looked really annoying, that she was stuck up. I'm like, guys, it's a character arc. Yeah, and she's gonna have her own movie. She's gonna come off really immature at first, and then they're gonna make her mature a little bit in her movie. It's pretty obvious. So yeah, if she's not likable now, she will be later. That's how you do character arcs. If you have a character be too unlikable in something, whether it's a movie or a show, and at this point you're just not having them really built up anything and they're just the same way for quite some time, yeah, it gets annoying because now you're just like, you know what, I don't really see this character changing. They're just negative the whole time. I really don't want to do anything with that character anymore. You're hurt. So with Supergirl, I'm very confident that they're gonna do her justice. So I'm really excited I got to see her in this film. John Cena is in the film. Peacemaker. It's a very small cameo that I will be honest with you, I did not see coming. And it kind of, two things about it. It's funny in the way how it came, but it's also confusing. The way how they brought him in here, right? There's a lot of scenes where news reporters are either talking to Lex Luthor or all the other people about Superman. And I'm gonna be honest with you, there was one scene where I thought this news reporter was talking to Lex Luthor. He was talking to Peacemaker. John Cena's in the film for like a few seconds, and the way how he brings him in here is perfect. I loved it. This guy's like, hey, like, what do you think about Superman, knowing the fact that he's actually here to try to take over or repopulate? Apparently he's a ladies man. What do you think? And then John Cena out and over is just like, nah, yeah, don't take him seriously. You know, he's nothing. He's shit. He's this and that. I freaking love that. I thought that was in character. That was perfect. But the problem I have here now where it's confusing is, wait, I thought that Peacemaker was in the Zack Snyderverse. Clearly, because of Suicide Squad and other characters that were there. But now, he's here? So I can't tell if this is maybe a different Peacemaker with the same actor, or if maybe he just said, screw it, we're just gonna move Peacemaker and now he's here. So it is a bit confusing on that. I wish we got a little bit more clarity, but just a cameo for now. So I guess we'll see if either in the end of Peacemaker Season 2 or possibly in Season 3 with Peacemaker, because Peacemaker is popular right now. So, you know, I've seen the first season, loved it. I thought it was great. I can't wait to see the second one. I'm just waiting for it to finish. I also found it kind of interesting how everything was so normalized. When that kaiju monster was there, I didn't really like the fact how things were just kind of happening left and right like nothing. They bring in this kaiju for like a distraction, and they bring him in as a baby, but you never really see him grow. How does he grow? Does he drink the water, or is it like the air? Or is it when he gets mad? Like, how did that baby grow into such a big kaiju? They never really clarified that. So regardless of it, I did like the kaiju fight. I thought that was cool. I did really like how Superman is so humble that he even told Mr. Terrific when they were fighting him, hey, look, let's not really kill this creature. Let's just beat him a little bit, right? And then take him somewhere so we can study him and learn more about him. Mr. Terrific's like, dude, are you serious? Man, get out of the way. And he basically like kills him by blowing up his insides. And what I like is that they didn't have Superman be like, whatever. He looks at him and he's just like, dude. Fine, alright. And then he like slowly goes through the effort to slowly bring down the kaiju to lay him down on the floor. That was very humble of him because he didn't want any destruction. He could have just easily let him tip over and then a bunch of shit would have been destroyed. In the fight scenes, right, of Superman, it didn't bother me. They felt really intense, and you could tell Superman was like rushing to be somewhere. But the problem is that I don't know if he liked how it was in Black Adam when they kept showing Dwayne's bald head every single time when he was trying to, you know, he'd be flying, he's just like to the freaking camera, right? He kept doing that with his forehead and the thing. And then with James Gunn Superman, it's a lot of like this, you know, like his head's right here, or like if it's really intense, he's like doing this, you know, a lot of moving. It's a lot of that. And you're kind of like, what's with the first close-up like face direction? So here, maybe James Gunn will hear the feedback about how he was flying and definitely adjust that. Oh yeah, that big ass alien in the very back, everybody was like, what is that? When Superman's talking to Lois Lane, apparently the reason why Superman was just sitting there was because it turns out that the Justice League gang was taking care of it in the background. And when Lois Lane is there, she's just like, hey, like there's like an alien kind of out there right now, don't you want to go and take care of it? And he's like, it's whatever. It's just like an intergalactical creature, you know. The Justice League gang got it. It's fine. And I'm like, wow. This stuff happens on such a daily basis that it's so normalized. People are like, oh, we're under attack again. Alright, anyway. Yeah, man, so I picked up this girl last night, right? Like, that's how it is there. I kind of like it, I'm not gonna lie. When you see something like that, you know, like on a daily basis, I do feel like at times it is gonna get a little bit normalized, right? So to see that become just such a regular thing, even with the kaiju game, there was a guy, I don't know if it was a donut or a coffee shop, where he's just like eating something, and then when he's looking at this kaiju, he just keeps going. He was like, it's a pretty good 30-minute lunch break. I think that James Gunn definitely took chances. I really liked how there are fans of Superman that are so passionate. There's this Indian guy in the very beginning of the movie where Superman falls down in the cement right in the city, and this guy's like, no, Superman. He's like, hey, like, I want to help you. And he's like, no, you gotta get out of here. He's like, no, Superman, you helped us. Let us help you. And I was like, oh man, yep, that's my childhood right there, man. Like, I used to see that in cartoons, so being able to hear that specific dialogue was like a fresh breath of air. I loved it. That was great. And then later on in the film, there's a scene where they capture Superman, and Lex Luthor brings in that same guy, and he's basically playing Russian roulette with this dude, and he actually kills him. That caught me off guard. I was like, whoa, that's actually Lex Luthor. He would do that. I just wish we saw more of that. And I'm gonna also mention this part. We see a lot of Superman, but not a lot of Clark Kent. In the very beginning, when he came in here all like really like nerdy, and he's just right here like with a pen and all this paper, like, oh hey, like what's going on? Oh okay, sure. Hey mom, what's going on? Oh nothing, just dealing with this moron, sorry about that. Yeah mom, what's going on? Wait Jimmy, you got the story? Yeah. I thought that was great. I was like, I wish I got to see Clark Kent more with Jimmy Olsen just being buddies. But we really didn't get that. If James Gunn does another Superman film, I hope we can see more chemistry between Jimmy Olsen and Clark Kent. Not Superman, Clark Kent. I would really like to see Clark Kent do his job a lot more this time, instead of just being the hero 24/7, right? Because it's great to see a different interpretation. When it comes down to Superman and Lois's relationship, I think it was good. I just wish we had more intensity. There really wasn't intensity. There's times where, again, the jokes are so out of place. It's like something was gonna have some tension, and then immediately the tension was gone because comedy. So again, calm down with the comedy, James. I feel like comedy doesn't have to be inserted in every freaking superhero film. You know, the very end, there were 2 end credit scenes. I liked the first one a little bit. It was nice. It was just Superman and Krypto just on the moon, looking at the earth, having a moment together, you know. I thought that was really nice. Oh, Metamorpho, I thought was great in the film. The way how he was introduced here, I thought was great. He didn't really have much to do, but the times he was on screen, I did feel for him. Again, not enough time, so you didn't get too much of him. But when he was on screen, it was cool to see Metamorpho. I thought it was awesome that he was able to mimic Kryptonite, and I think it was awesome how even after he decides to work with Superman to get back his son, I believe, then he was able to like become like a tentacle and become like dust or whatever, and he's now helping the Justice League gang, you know. And then Lois Lane with Guy Gardner, their chemistry was perfect, man. How they were just going back and forth with each other talking shit. Oh man, I loved it. I thought it was great. That is Sideverse. I just want to say that I'm really glad that this new tone works for what they're going for here. I think everybody's performance here is phenomenal. I think everybody works here. You can see them grow into these characters a lot more in the future, that's for sure. And I really do want to see that. I do feel like David's Superman is fine. People are giving him such a hard time. I don't know why. Yeah, he's a new Superman, but you're not gonna like a character right off the bat. You gotta build up with him. And here's another thing. I forgot to mention this in my first review. The suit. People bitch constantly about the suit. I'll be honest with you. I like the suit, but I didn't like the lines. I thought the lines were not necessary. They didn't really do anything throughout the film. But the suit, not one person mentioned it. No one's talking about the suit. That's how much you forgot about it. It just was Superman, and that was it. No one talked about that suit at all. So again, one little thing comes online and people blow up out of proportions. And if you don't even bother looking into it, then don't talk. It's that simple, okay? Regardless of that though, I did like a lot of the action scenes that Superman was involved in, especially in the end. In the end, it did get a bit CGI heavy, but I did like some of the creativity that James Gunn did with Superman. It was interesting. A lot of people are saying that James Gunn wasn't the right director to do Superman. A lot of people are saying he is. I just think that this was a good startup. I'm not gonna say, oh, James Gunn could not do Superman. I think he did fine. Yeah, things could have been improved, but I think he did okay. I don't think it was bad at all. I think a lot of people are really gonna like this film already. The score on Rotten Tomatoes, the critic score. A lot of people are doing these out of the theater reactions like you saw. I did one. I really want to see the Lantern Corps. I want to see more with that now that Guy Gardner's in it. I like him so much here. I want to see more of him. And yes, he's confirmed to be in that show. So I definitely want to see that. And then we got Supergirl coming in. Oh man, I'm excited to see that too, especially because she has anger management problems. So that's going to be exciting. But other than that though, Verse, thank you so much for watching my spoiler discussion. Thank you so much. I'm going to try to throw more of these out there. So I love talking about films, Verse. I'm a movie buff guy. So I want you guys to know that I'm going to try to be on here a lot more because I genuinely miss this, guys, really. So other than that, Verse, thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know what you guys think. Did you guys agree with me that I maybe missed something? I feel like I'm forgetting a few things here. Don't get me wrong. So if you like what you saw, guys, do me a favor, hit the like button, subscribe, hit the notification for more content as always. Look forward to the next video, Verse. And with that said, I'll see you next time. Later, Verse.